Hey, welcome back to the Mindfulness podcast. My name is Becky and I'm the host, and this is a trading psychology podcast designed to bring on guests and have topics of conversation that will help us all improve our trading experience and kind of make the journey a little more tolerable in the hard days and bring education that will help you guys, improve right along with me as I'm improving. I'm finding myself in my most profitable season yet, and I'm just going to continue going with that. And so everything that I talk about on here is something that has helped me get to where I am so far, and I am currently doing to help me get farther along. So thank you for joining me. Today is special because you guys get to hear again from one of my favorite traders and mentors, and that is Jermaine. He runs a trading community that I'm a part of and has really been instrumental in me getting to the highest success that I have achieved so far, and really has so much wisdom and experience that I could pick his brain all day, every day, and there still would be more to turn over. So when he was on and we recorded, we just talked for an hour, and I was like, this is so good. I want people to really absorb it all. So we decided to split it up into 2 episodes. This is the start of the second half of the episode. So if you missed the first half, definitely the link is in the description, and go back and watch that as well, because it was such a powerful conversation that there really was nothing that I wanted to trim. I want to bring you guys everything that I think will hold such value for us. So let's enjoy part 2 of my conversation with my mentor, Jermaine. Thanks for being here.
It's like a beautiful journey that you're going to go on. Okay, you can't have any kind of, oh, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's uncomfortable, and we understand that, but change your perspective on that. Okay, I remember the first time I learned that I could listen to my own self and my thoughts. I was always like observing me. Okay, I even imagine being beside my desk, standing beside me, just listening to my thoughts, and I'm like, what is this guy thinking? Right? So it was a journey that I embarked on, and I was so excited about it. It's the first time that I realized that I was not my thoughts. Do you understand what that did for me? It did so much. It did so much for me to know that, hey, not because I think something, that doesn't mean it's law. It's just a thought, and I'll skip over it. Right? That helped me a lot. Even to this day, if I'm having certain conversations, I'll have an out-of-body experience. And I'm saying, and I'm looking at my thoughts, and I'm saying, okay, why did you say that just now? Okay, is that logical? Like, and you can correct yourself along the way, and you're doing like little modifications along the way, and it just accumulates over time to the point where your thoughts are better, right? And the things that come into your life much better.
And you can catch limiting beliefs that are holding you back sooner and shut them down. Like the scarcity and stuff when that comes in of like, oh, I screwed it up again. I'm probably going to go on a losing streak or whatever. You can like shut that shit down early and just be like, no, like I took every trader takes a loss. Like it happens. It doesn't mean I'm not, it means that I need to learn from that setup and potentially what was different about this day than the other day, and like see what else the market has, come back tomorrow. Like you can catch it sooner, I think, by doing what you're talking about of like paying attention to your body and your internal talk, and then shutting down the ones that are it's just noise that you can feed into, or you
Absolutely.
can choose
And
to
I do
switch.
it to this day. Everything that I'm sharing with you guys on that psychology side, I still do it every day because I just feel like I have so much further to go, and I don't want to ever feel like I'm ever there. Okay, it's a journey that it's such a beautiful journey, because the more I understand from a core level that I'm just in a meat suit, and I'm just here to plug into all the different things in this world and experience them, I'm making it what I want it to be. I want this experience to be from that perspective and not from a human perspective.
That's one thing I wanted to mention today and highlight about who you are, is that you do have a really strong process and psychology and from the growth that you have done so far. But what I love about the way that you teach and the way that you are, and how I want to be always as a trader, is that you are not complacent with that. You are not comfortable and satisfied in where you have achieved and what you know, and that you are set. Like you continue to show up and be like, I don't know. I know nothing. Because you want to respect the fact that Miss Market can surprise you, and you need to always be a forever learner in order to
100%.
stay
The days that
sharp,
I know the
right?
most are the days that I lose the most. So, well,
Explain that for a second.
let's say, I was talking about this yesterday, where I had a situation where there were weaker hands in the market that it would make sense in my head that they were taken out before a move happened. And I held on to that bad boy for way longer than I should have. And that created a lot of pain. Okay. And I found out that not because I had that much confidence in something and I feel like I know it, that doesn't mean, it's going to result in my P&L. It's going to come up, it's going to show up in my P&L. Okay. Knowledge doesn't equate to P&L, by the way. Okay. It's really how you apply that knowledge. Okay. And I had to come to terms with that because I felt like, oh, because they're weak hands in the market, they need to be taken out. Well, not today, Jermaine. So what are you going to do about it? Okay. So that I
Yeah.
know nothing is a very comforting statement for me because it reminds me that, hey, just show up every day and trade what you know. Don't try to know too much. Sometimes it's even beautiful to say, I don't know and I don't care. Right? It's so beautiful to say, look, I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. You have more opportunities to see a move when you tell yourself that I don't know what's going on, as opposed to, yeah, I know what's going on. Yeah, it's gonna go right. Yes. But if you
Has to
don't
be
know
fit.
what are you looking for, you've opened
Yeah.
up your mind to learn what's going on. But the minute you know, your mind is closed.
Right. And then you can shift the data to make it look like what you're hunting instead of being open and surrendering to like just receiving what is being presented in front of you and then thinking about what you see instead of saying this has to do this and I would like for it to do it now because I'm already in the trade.
100%. And
It's
if
much
you
more
come to me and
dangerous.
say, Jermaine, the market is gonna go down and my bias is long, we're not, you can trust that we're not having an argument over that. Okay? Because I'm not going to be back and forth with you on the direction of the market. Right? I know too much to know that I don't know anything.
Any game could play, so stay present and trust your process. And if you have very strong feelings that it's going for a direction, doesn't mean it has to go there now, right? Like you have to lean into your process and respect a stop loss because it could go there next week and you can't hold a position indefinitely, especially in futures trading. The leverage is too high. So, have a good contextual reading and study and research and have a plan, but
Absolutely. And
also
Becky, I
respect your
really
process.
want to encourage your audience to try try mindfulness meditation. It's all over the place, I get it, but try to make a real effort to be mindful. Try to make a real effort of staying in your body,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that you're always in your body because we're not always in our body. Okay. And if you are a trader and you
Okay.
want to be successful at this, you're going to have to be in your body a lot of times. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
when you can stay in your body, you're so present to the point where that data that's on the chart, you're taking it for what it is because you're not in the past and you're not in the future. Okay. You're right here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of us, we lose sight of what the
Yeah.
market is trying to do because we're forcing our own perspective, our own thoughts, our own feelings on it, when all we need to do is to practice to be right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why I don't even have my phone beside me when I'm trading. I don't want to hear a pin drop. The only thing I want to see is show me what you want to do, and I'll hop on with for the ride, and I'll take
Yeah.
what you give to me.
Yeah, that's 100% true from what I know about you is that you don't engage in messages, you're not talking to the community. When you are trading, and then you'll get to the rest of it afterwards because you need to be wholly in your process and focus. And I think it's easier. Like I speak to the market as if she's a lady, and like you want to feel the rhythm, you want to experience how she's moving, and then you learn from watching that, from watching what a momentum move looks like and where the pullback happens and how it sets up and what it looks like when a level truly is rejecting or holding. You can get in sync with almost the feel of how it moves if you study one specific instrument for a long enough time. And that can give you a real edge as well, because that can really validate your system. If you trade based on value, market profile, like, different areas that we have studied within our community, you're watching a certain level for all of these reasons, but then actually staying present with the fluctuations and tuning out all the rest of the noise. I think that is like mindfully staying present and focused. And then you learn so much more. You take in and assimilate so much
Absolutely.
more data, right?
I'll share something with you. You would, let's say you have a chart, you have a level of, you have an area of interest, and the market comes there, and the market leaves you, and you're like, oh my god, I didn't know how to get into this trade. Like I knew it was going to bounce. Yeah, you knew, but you weren't on it because you weren't there. You weren't present. You weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's one of the major
Yeah.
benefits of
I,
being in your body, and I do think that meditation can really help you with that. And as I was explaining yesterday, it's not like you have to sit one place for hours to meditate. You could do that all day.
Yeah, I feel like I cram too much into my days, but that has been a skill that has helped me
Hmm.
is being able to do like productive meditation where like when you're driving, when you are cooking or something, you can be doing something tasky that is more rote and doesn't take a lot of brain power, and you can be thinking through like what is my process and how do I want to execute it and how do I want to be as a human and what are the thoughts that I want to carry into my day tomorrow, so I want them to be the last thoughts in my brain as I'm getting ready for bed and brushing my teeth. It doesn't have to be sitting in a chair in lotus position for a half an hour if
No,
you
no,
can't
it
get
doesn't have
that.
to be like that. You could be listening to yourself, even hear yourself think, and you're like, "Oh, that's interesting, Jermaine. Like, why would you think like that? Like, where's that coming from?" That's a form of you being aware. That's basically mindfulness. Okay, you're paying attention to yourself, your thoughts. Why did you think to go down the road when you need to be here? Like, whatever the case is, anything that pops up. Okay, and if we talk about
Mhm.
subjective and objective analysis the other day briefly, but it's so good to make sure that you understand what's going on in the present versus what you're thinking. Okay, there's two different stories here. Okay,
Mhm.
and I do think that mindfulness
Yeah.
helps with that a lot.
I actually really loved the conversation, even though it was brief, about subjective and objective data when you're trading, because as I'm going to pivot for a second, but like as a nurse, we rely significantly on the two different bodies of analysis, objective data from a patient and subjective data. Someone comes into the emergency department and they're hyperventilating, they're pale, they're sweaty. I can't breathe. I'm dying. I can't breathe. Okay, I see that there's a risk here. You could be having a massive heart attack. Let me put you on the monitor. Let me see what your heart rate is, what your oxygen level is, what your blood pressure is. And if all those things are normal, they legit can just be having a panic attack because they just broke up with their girlfriend and they just need an Ativan, you know? Or they could be having a massive heart attack and need to be rushed to the cath lab. And so, letting something come at you and then being like, I'm receiving this data. Like, what are you saying? What could this be? But also, what are the facts? Like, how is this candle closing? What is happening at this level? And like focusing more on the objective
Yes,
because it's
yes, it
more
is. It
reliable.
it, it is. Um, Subjective and objective analysis, really, if you lean into them a lot, like lean into both of them, understand, because we need to collect that data from the subjective side, right? We need that data too. Okay, and then once we get that, what's really happening, it's really a matter of, hey, where do I make the decision now? And you can make better decisions from those standpoints. So I totally
Yeah.
totally
Love
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
For me personally, I just think that being present is such a superpower these days.
Yeah. I totally get that. I think if I had to summarize this episode that we're going to release into like the main theme of it, it would be traders who are like 1 to 4 years into trading and have an edge, but are still encountering resistance. And like these are topics that I think are really, really worth digging into, because that's why I want to bring you on, because you have taught me so much. And these are the things that I'm actively doing right now in order to break through some barriers that I have allowed to hold me down. And I think that a lot of traders have to get to this point and then choose to dig in deeper to really face the hard truths of like, do you have a process and are you respectful of it? And are you showing up to your business and working your ass off to like understand it as thoroughly and intimately as you can in order to execute the best way? But then also giving credence to changing who you are as a human so that you are okay to leverage up as your skills grow. So, I mean, do you have any last thoughts on what that looks like and the best tip and how we can like stick with it and get better instead
Yes, I
of
think
fall?
the main question here is, are you really giving trading 100%? And you have to be real with yourself here. Because your 100%, I mean, it could be someone else's 20%. Okay? And I understand it's relative, but
Yeah.
I think my advice to them is just be true to yourself. Okay? Does your system work? If that's a yes, fine. We've conquered one element of it. Okay. Are you showing up the right way? What does that look like for you? Okay. Um, you know, in our community we have we're open with our process here. So you can use that as some kind of guideline to say, okay, you know, Becky's doing all of this in the morning, Germany's doing all of this, Peter's doing all of that. Let me see what I can gather from this and create something of my own and bounce it off someone else. So I do think that
Mm-hmm.
you need to know if your 100% is someone else's 20. Okay? And get real with yourself on, are you creating the right habits? You can have 5 things in trading that's holding you
Yeah.
back. January 1st. And if you are very intentional on knocking those off the list and being a better person, get serious and say, okay, I'm going to work on 2 right now. Don't put a time limit on it. You can create a habit in let's say 2 months, 3 months. You can kind of cement that kind of habit that you want, that you desire. And if you wake up every day with the right intentions, with the right mindset to work on these 2 things, I do believe that you will at least get much better at trading. Whether that's revenge trading, whether that's patience, whether
Right.
that's whatever you choose them and knock them off by focusing on them every day. Now, if you come to the charts every day showing up and you're just hitting buy and sell, you have no process, you have nothing to work with, that's concrete, that's proven, God go with you. Okay? God go with you. So I mean, I could look, we could be working the same job together, and I'm in a cubicle, you're in a cubicle, and I could look busy all day doing nothing. Okay, and that's what a lot of people from
Yeah.
year 1 to 4, we're doing things, but we're not really
Mm.
doing the things that really matters in trading. Okay, so know what they are and focus on them. Okay, if you are over leveraging every day, well, get real with yourself. Maybe you need to try micros for another month until you can form the right habits. And ultimately, that's what we are trying to do, right? We are trying to get the right habits in our subconscious. Okay? We want our bodies to do these things
Yeah.
better than our minds so we can effect the right change.
That is excellent. I think that you're totally on point with like, if we're really being real with ourselves, we know. And whether that's like a popular or a kind thing to say, like it's the truth. I would argue that, face yourself and be real with yourself. And if you really want to be a millionaire trader, show up in every way at all times and like do your best work to get your best outcome. Otherwise, you're going to get what you've gotten so far. And if you're okay with that, carry on. But I'm not. I have decided that I want to go to all of the higher levels, and I think I can do it based on how I have already grown. But definitely recognizing that I have so much more growth to do, and so I mean, show up and own that, and
Do
do
the
the
work. And
work
a lot
to
of
get
us,
there.
we're wired to run from pain and to move forward to pleasure, right? We're wired like that. So if we just stay a little bit longer, Becky, there are times like when I was trying to have my breakthroughs, the market would open, Becky, and my heart starts racing, I'm shaking, all of that. But Becky, if you stay just right there, just stay with it a little bit, question it, let it stay there. Don't put any action to whatever you're feeling, because that's a big thing, is to separate the actions from what you're feeling. And if you don't react to those emotions, Becky, you know what's going to happen? They're just going to fade away. They're just going to fade away, Becky. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, no trades yet, no shaking, no like serious heart palpitations. And I'm there and I'm like, I'm seeing the market. So you just have to sit with it. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. They don't want to sit with it. And the minute you take action, is like action is kind of a relief. If you're feeling something and you take action, it's a sign of
Mhm.
relief. You're trying to ease your pain. But if you sit with it and you question it,
Give
Becky,
into
and
it.
you said, "No, I don't see anything yet, and I'm feeling all this kind of way," and you're in your body, and the market is not giving you the data, and you're saying no. If we just wait another 5 minutes, Becky, it could change the course of our trading.
Mhm. I think this is my favorite part of this whole conversation because it's so actionable. Like, break it down. Like, you don't have to be a different human tomorrow. Like, that would feel extremely overwhelming, but try and do slightly better. Like, hold a little bit longer, let the candle close, like work on this one thing if you know
Yeah,
you have five downsides, like recognize that this is a long game pursuit and break it down. And don't be hard on yourself because that just brings more negative emotion, but instead just try for little growth and then let that
100%.
build upon
And if
itself.
you do that, today, and you find out that you're getting rid of overtrading and FOMO, you do it tomorrow. You make an intention for
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow to do the same thing, and then the next day after, you know what's going to start to happen? Okay, this is going to be your new norm, to sit in your emotions, understand them, and then know that it's probably another 2-3 minutes before it fades away. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that you can do it. You can hold, you can be patient, and it has gotten you better outcomes if you
No
can do
action is
it.
the
So
best
just
action
do
in
it.
this case, and understand it like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So mindfulness helped me to step outside of my thoughts, and then understanding that and experiencing those kind of emotions on the chart. Mindfulness, this is where mindfulness came in with the power, because now I'm like, oh, why are you feeling like this? um, okay, that's interesting. What are the thoughts that are coming up here? Okay, wow, like trade, why? Why should I trade now? You know what? I'm going to trade in the next 5 minutes, and give yourself some. It's a game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I read that the best way to be confident is to make promises to yourself and then keep them. Because then you are making a plan and you are honoring it. And then that gives you just more strength to do more of what you want and what you trust and what you plan. And then that will make it easier each day. And I think that I have felt that. And I think that that's really powerful.
It builds momentum for sure. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The right
Yeah.
momentum. The right momentum.
We need that. I think it can bring a lot of peace to early traders because, like, don't be hard on yourself. Recognize that this is a lot of growth and development and learning that you need to do, and that that's okay. Like, the hard days teach you, and to respect them as teachers and don't hate them as like you want to be perfect, because that's just not realistic for a real true growth and change and next level. So, let it happen. Jermaine, thank you very, very much for your time. Like, I know that you're very busy and you give so much to so many people. And I really, on behalf of all of us that catch this episode, these are a true wisdom from someone who has lived it, is living it, and has grown through it. So I really am so thankful for your time. Have the best day. And everyone, I will link to our previous discussions, and let me know if you have any comments or questions, and we will get to those for sure. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.